Accuracy and me don't get along. Believe me. The bananas. It's not a potassium thing. I'm just a big fan. Hey, if my source said to me they're going to Czechoslovakia this week, how am I to blame? I'm passing the information.
Here he is, one half of the team, Donnie and Dolly, weekdays on Czech television from 10 to 12, and, of course, Friday regular with us, Canucks insider, Mr. Rick Dhaliwal. How you doing?
It's not a good day. There's nothing to talk about.
No, nothing at all. Hey, you know what? In a lot of ways, Rick, it's not a good day. It's not a good day for proud Canucks fans who have to watch Bruce Boudreau get this. This is not a good day for the Vancouver Canucks or their fans.
And especially not for their owner or management. They're the ones who have agency over this.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. You want to go to Bruce first, and then we'll go to.
Let's do Bruce first. Yeah.
Let's do Bruce first, and then we'll go over to Bo Horvat. But look, guys, you guys know more than anyone else. Hockey's a business, but still, coaches are hired to be fired. I have a big question about why. If we already know, everybody knows Tocchet's coming. Everybody knows it's going to happen any day. Even Bruce said in his news conference this morning, guys, come on. In today's cell phone, internet, Twitter, texting world, it's impossible. He's in a hot Canadian market. He's not in Carolina. He's not in Columbus where there's 2 reporters. He's in one of the hottest cities in the National Hockey League, never mind Canada right now, for information and news. So we all know it's coming. Bruce knows it's coming. I mean, I don't understand what you're going to gain by letting him coach tonight and tomorrow.
Exactly.
If the inevitable is Sunday or Monday. Because here's the thing, guys. We all know it's coming. We all know it's to be behind the bench for 2 games when you know you're probably getting a Saturday night or Sunday. That's tough to do.
Rick, I know Tocchet said he hadn't signed anything, but I believe he agreed to something earlier this week verbally. What's your information in terms of the timeline of this? Why would they have not done it sooner than this? We were talking Mercy firing.
Yeah.
Mike Yeo is fully capable of being an interim coach. What is it that these guys are missing?
Okay. If you looked at Rick Tocchet talking on the panel on TNT the other night, the guys that were on the panel obviously knew he's leaving, going to Vancouver. They were all smiling and laughing. Rick Tocchet, you can tell his body language. He didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to talk about it. You could tell with the way, guys, obviously I've talked to Alvin Rutherford. Hey, how about the Boston Bruins? He tried to change the subject right away. He was uncomfortable, but his hosts were not. His hosts were laughing. They know.
It was open secret. It was open secret for them.
It's an
honestly.
So, look, guys.
And when did this industry, which has always had a little bit of compassion and empathy, when did this industry decide that Bruce Boudreau was going to be the guy that they just mocked and were cruel to? Holy shit. A lot of people look like assholes this week, and many of them with the Vancouver Canucks.
Coaching changes are tough, but this one's dragged on a while. And the Tocchet name's been out there for a while, guys, and it's just been out there. It's been out there. I'm going to be honest with you. When did we first start hearing Tocchet? In November? Late November, I think. I remember we had Brad Richardson on in November, and we asked him about Tocchet because he played for him in Arizona, right? So, look, guys, it's going to happen. How we got here, obviously nobody's happy about. The fans are like our text line today. I'm not going to lie to you. It exploded. It exploded today, and people are upset. If you want to know why Tocchet's coming, it's not hard to figure it out, guys. He was with the Penguins on their Stanley Cup championship teams with Rutherford and Alvin. They trust him, and there's a familiarity there. But I'm told the big thing with Tocchet is he's going to come and hold players accountable for performance, and I think that's one of the keys why he's coming.
Number 9 in particular. Do you have any information, though, as to why they didn't do as Matt suggested, why they didn't just go interim, save themselves all this public backlash and bad PR?
I can only think I was told a week ago they want to do. I think apparently from what we're hearing is that he's bringing assistant coaches with him. So that may play a role in it. I don't know. I mean, this is just stuff we're hearing. We're only going to find out when they hold the Tocchet presser. But I think that he might be bringing. We've heard Sergei Gonchar's name. Somebody floated out Mark Recchi's name as possible. I don't have any confirmation on those, by the way, just stuff that you hear. So that explains a little bit too. Why, that maybe if they got assistant coaches coming, who knows? But I mean, look, I don't have the answers as to why it's happened or why it's happening this way. I do believe Tocchet had to give, what do you call it,
notice.
Notice. I think it was 4 weeks. So that's one of the reasons why it's taken so long with him as well.
The bottom line is, boy, there's not an assistant coach in the world that is worth your reputation and integrity. And somewhere along the way, Francesco Aquilini and Jim Rutherford have lost sight of all this. And now, Rick Tocchet is – no, listen. You listen to me for a sec.
Yep.
Rick Tocchet comes in here as the bad guy. Rick Tocchet comes in, like you really needed your assistant on game one, Rick. Yeah, exactly. You really needed your assistant game one, Tocchet? Like, come on.
Okay, hold it a second. So we're not here today if the owner would have hired Rutherford and Alvin first. Yeah. We're here today because when they came, they had a coach in place. And what happens when there's a new regime takes over? They usually want their own guy.
They get their guy.
Yeah. So when they came here, they first complained about two things. All right, structure and practices. They were the number one and two things that Alvin and Rutherford noted first when they come here. They didn't like the practices because in Pittsburgh they had a guy named Sidney Crosby who set the template, first guy on the ice, last guy off the ice, and everybody follow this guy because he's the Hall of Famer. So they didn't have that here. They did not have the structure they wanted. They didn't have the practices they wanted. So you knew early that this wasn't going to work out.
It's a risk, though.
Rick, this is a risk. Fair criticisms, but that's not licensed to treat someone like they've treated Boudreau.
No, there's no question. Now, the other thing I was told is that Boudreau, when he did his deal in Vancouver, he did it exclusively 100% with the owner. There was no middleman in between.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. So, again, if the owner hires Alvina Rutherford first and he could have just kept one of Travis Green's assistants in place for a few weeks, maybe we're not here today.
Rick, he's not an X's and O's coach. Like everybody we've talked to, this is not a structured coach. He is absolutely what you talked about, accountability kind of guy. But this has the chance to blow up in 18 months' time if this team continues to lack structure and lack defensive play. I mean, you do wonder – if this is the right guy for this particular situation.
Well, okay, but again, I'll always say this. When Aquilini went to Jim Rutherford's house in South Carolina and sat there for 5 hours, what do you think they talked about, turning this around? So when they sat and talked, and I heard there was a private meeting with Tocchet, I don't know, a week or two back. What do you think they talked about? They talked about, here's where we're at, here's where we're going to get to. He knows coming in. Rutherford knew coming in it was going to be hard. Alvin knew coming in it was going to be hard. Boudreau knew it a year ago. He took over a pretty bad scene. And now Tocchet, he knows he's coming into not a top 5, top 10 team. These guys all knew coming to Vancouver, it's not going to change overnight. Nobody is telling these guys you have to take the job, Blake. They're taking it and trying to fix it, but it's going to take time.
Good luck to them.
Yeah.
Well,
good luck.
Well done. Boy, have you set up Rick Tocchet here. Well done, gents. Horvat, how soon do we expect to trade? They're going to lose. And just to recap, they went into the year with the head coach and the captain, the entirety of the locker room leadership, as lame ducks because they wanted to commit to JT freaking Miller.
Which ultimately led to Rick Tocchet, probably.
It may well have been. I saw Farhan say, that Tocchett's being in here basically to make JT Miller accountable. Gave the guy $8 million per year before you decided he needs to be accountable. How quickly can we expect a Horvat trade?
Okay, so let's get into this. I heard last night way more chatter and intensity. when it comes to a Horvat trade. Teams are stepping up. They're trying to get a deal done early, well before the trade deadline. Doesn't mean that the trade's happening today or tomorrow, guys. What it means is teams are pushing harder. Top six center with 30 goals. You can see why. It's picking up. It's heating up. But no guarantees of a trade today or tomorrow. Everyone's here in the same teams. Boston, Seattle. I mentioned Seattle, I think, on Tuesday. They've been very, very, very consistent in their pursuit of Bo Horvat. Carolina, I'm heard, is trying hard. Colorado, Minnesota, it's all, everyone's here in the same teams. Now, I wonder if the Canucks are going to try and move a bad contract in the Horvat deal. That would be interesting if they could pull that off. They're trying to get more creative. It's been a year. They can't move the bad deals. So sometimes you got to get creative. I'm not saying that is going to happen. I'm just wondering out loud myself. For those still waiting for Horvat to sign with the Canucks, I say to you this. I have no evidence the Canucks and Horvat have talked contracts since early December. Horvat's agent Pat Morris is in town next Tuesday. Okay? Next Tuesday, and as of this morning, there is no meeting been set up to talk to Pat Morris. Also, as of now, Morris has not been given permission to talk to any teams about an extension for Horvat. That can change. I'm not saying that can't change. Every team's got a different philosophy on letting agents talk to teams. Sometimes a team will lose the narrative and the leverage when they give the agent permission. Now, do keep one thing in mind. This owner or this management group did not give JT Miller's agent at any point. I remember when Miller signed and I asked his agent, did you ever get permission to talk to teams? He said no. So this looks like an organizational philosophy. Sometimes it works. Look at last year, Hampus Lindholm. He was given permission to talk to the Bruins. They did the extension, they did the trade, and it's worked out wonderful for the Bruins, I think you would say. So I'll say this. The Canucks are talking to Andrei Kuzmenko's agent, but when it comes to Bo Horvat's agent, very, very quiet.
When you say put a contract with Brock, and I've had this thought last
and that's
night too.
me.
I had this thought.
Let me emphasize before.
Too.
Yeah, that's me.
Because that's a win. But do you think there's sort of two tiers of bad contracts on this team? Because there's the crowning glory of OEL, and then there's the Besser and Garlands of the world. Yeah, you thinking more Garland level than not the holy grail here of OEL, right?
Yeah, and Myers is up there too, and Pearson was before the injury. Look, I was told a couple of weeks ago. Look, we showed I don't know if you guys saw the tweet where essentially 85 to 90% of the NHL teams are capped out. It's really hard to move bad deals, and the new regime's been trying for a year. They can't do it. So what happens when you can't do it? They got to get creative. And I'm just wondering out loud if they would use a Horvat deal to get rid of a bad deal. That's me wondering out loud. We'll see what happens. But all the suspect, because I got to tell you something right now. If they can't get rid of bad deals, expect buyouts this summer and expect them. Take it to the bank, because it's becoming very frustrating for this regime to get rid of the old regime's bad contracts. You can sense the frustration.
Yeah, I mean, Rutherford said as much on Monday that he miscalculated.
He did. Yeah, and buyouts are, if you can't do it, guys, with other teams, there's a simple way to do it, and it's still painful, and you still got to. It's painful, but you got to do buyouts.
Have the Canucks considered scratching Horvat to facilitate a trade?
I'm not told anything's imminent today or tomorrow. Okay. I'm just told that it's heating up, and it's heating up.
Boston, Winnipeg, Detroit, Carolina, Tampa,
Minnesota's in there.
Minnesota.
Seattle's trying hard.
Seattle.
They've been.
What's your gut, Ricky? What do you think?
I don't know. Carolina's the funny one for me because Rod Brind'Amour, I was told, he loves players like Bo Horvat. I mean, let's be honest. That's a Rod. If you ever think of a Rod Brind'Amour player, it's Bo Horvat.
Kotkaniemi's going to be a Canuck, isn't he? Isn't he?
You know what?
Just saying. He's going to be a Canuck. You know it.
I hate it, but I hate it because and then he's going to turn in with 50 goal scorer, and I'm frickin' screwed. But listen. Kotkaniemi, or whatever his name is, third overall, 218. The only issue I have with him, he's been very, very inconsistent.
Yeah, inconsistent. There's nothing there.
There's 34 points in his first year. I think he was 18 or 19. It's the highest he's ever got. I don't know how he got an 8-year deal at 4.8. But his draft year, the Canucks were after him hard. The Canucks really liked this guy in his draft year. But that was a previous regime. Those scouts are all gone, I think, most of them. But I'm just saying, are the Hurricanes dangling him? I'm pretty sure they are. They're probably saying, hey, can you take this? But I don't know, guys. There's so many. Like right now, the Vancouver Canucks, I can tell you this, are rumor central number 1 in the NHL, and it's not even close.
Well,
not
of
even
course,
close.
Of course.
Not even close. Not even close.
Rick, they're the laughing stock of the NHL. They're the carnival of the NHL.
The national media that are carving them right now is
the most dysfunctional team in the NHL. Like, it's now known through 32 markets. Like, we thought we were through the worst of it when it was Benning and Francesco. They've managed to sink lower.
But someday, and it's been 11 years, someday you have to think they're going to turn this around. Like Donnie says it all the time. Look, guys, I want to, in my lifetime, I want a Stanley Cup. We all do. Mm-hmm. I was there in 82. I know I'm dating myself, but 82 kicked me in the balls. 94, 211. We've been, look, everybody wants to, look, guys, everybody wants to, and here's the other one. Mm-hmm. All these guys, there's always 5 to 10% on Twitter that hate the media. It doesn't matter what we tweet. I'll tell you something about Twitter. I can have the nicest, most positive tweet in the world, still 2 to 4% backlash.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah, it's just you can't win with these guys.
That's part of the game. Hey, that's part of what you.
But Twitter's a very dangerous. Dangerous thing sometimes. It screws with your mind. You can be the most positive guy. You can try your best, but there's 4 to 5% haters. Haters going to hate. They're going to hate. Wow. You and us, we have numerous amounts of haters. It's life.
Here's the thing, and that comes with the territory of working this job. We've all known that for 20 years. I'll say this: the hater. People hate this owner right now, and they hate this organization, and with good reason. Very good reason.
And it's up to them to turn it around. Because I'm going to tell you right now, guys, it's been 11 years of bleep hockey in this market. It's very, and people don't realize this, it's very tough covering 11 years of bleep hockey. And we'd like to.
It's not about us, though. Rick, it's not about us.
But hold on a second. It is.
No, it's not. No. It's about the fans who invest their time and money. It's about the fans and the way they invest their time and money. I don't give a shit about the. We cover what.
No, hold it a second. I don't want to cover 11 years more of losing hockey. It gets to us as well. That's what I'm trying to. And that's why Donnie always says, you know what? I want to see a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. And you know what? Before we got into the media, and we were all fans, right? Mm-hmm. And we were fans, the people that in the media that grew up in Vancouver. And you know what? And Donnie says it. I want to see a cup. I don't want to see 11 years more of bleep hockey. Like, turn it around. Okay, fine. You think it's 2 or 3 years? 2 or 3 more years? Then fine. Go do it then. But just, it's frustrating for us as well. Hey, guys, before you cut me off, I want to get into Kuzmenko and Brock Besser and Thatcher Demko updates. Okay, so Rutherford Alvin and Emily Costangay met with Kuzmenko's agent, Dan Milstein, in Florida last weekend. Very good first meeting, guys. Again, if Milstein can get a bridge deal in the $6-7 million range, they're going to try. Both sides want to get it done. Anyways, it was a really good meeting. I expect, though, again, the Canucks continue to talk to Kuzmenko's agent, but they're ignoring Horvat's agent. Brock Besser, harder to move than they thought. There's so many capped-out teams, guys. It's causing headaches in that deal. They might have to retain money on some of these deals to make trades. Teams in on Besser are asking Vancouver to take some money back. It's just the state of the NHL right now. Everyone's capped out. Thatcher Demko, teams are calling on him. I still think he's a week or two away from returning from an injury, and Luke Schenn is obviously going to garner a lot. Some people think the Canucks can get a second rounder for him.
Mm-hmm. Ricky, buddy, thank you for the time here today.
Well, hey, hold it. What was up with that dead air?
Yeah, it was just a little bit of silence there.
Hey, hold on a second.
Honestly, guys, here's what it was. Like,
what?
And most Fridays, Rick, and this is nothing against you, like, most Fridays I'd be very interested in, Demko, Besser, Kuzmenko, and all of these files. Today I just got a sick taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Because of the team that you, me, Blake, and others spend a lot of time on that really they don't deserve.
Yeah. Watching Bruce today, almost breaking down in the presser, we're all humans.
Yeah.
We're, we have emotions, and watching him almost cry in that post game today, it hits. I'm human. I care for other people, and
and they don't, and that's the problem.
Well,
they don't.
Yeah.
Like this Aquilini-led organization doesn't know how to treat people. That's been true for many, many years, and today it came to a head. It culminated with a very good and lovable guy having an emotional breakdown in public because of the way they treated him.
And it's getting to him. And I said to Donnie. I said to Donnie about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said, you can see the stress on Bruce and after post games. And you could just see him going, oh, man, I got to talk to these guys. Oh, no, what am I going to say tonight? You know what he's going to say? Is the exact same thing he's been saying all year. Defensive breakdowns. We're a fragile group. We're giving up too many chances. Puck management's not good. The goaltending wasn't there tonight. We got to check better. We got to come back forwards. It just sounded like it's been about a month and a half. He sounds like a broken record. You got to feel for the guy.
Yeah, and just to be clear, if you want to fire Bruce Boudreau because the job he's done through 40-some games this year, look, there's material there. You can justify the firing.
There's a tried and true method to do that, though.
Exactly.
They decided not to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like try and have a little bit of empathy, try and have a little bit of compassion. At least show that you're considering the guy you're about to toss overboard, and not just the guy you're bringing in. Ricky, marvelous. We'll catch up next Friday, buddy. Appreciate this.
Adios, amigos.
Have a good weekend.